Hi, we are the Vintage Caravan, and you're watching Old School of Rock.
Reset your mind every single time. That's what it's for, to take you back for sure. Show what you find. This happens all the time.
Okay guys, so you mostly play classical music like hard rock from the late 80s, late 60s and the beginning of 70s mostly. But when I watch your music videos, I see some more modern elements like hipster hamsters, for example. I just wanted to ask you what your views on your music. Do you try to make music the same as 60s and 70s, or you want to make new music based on that time period?
I guess it's more, the last thing you said, I guess. But we just play what we play. It's very, a lot of it is very influenced by, 60s, 70s music, but a lot of it is also not, you know, and I personally don't really see it as that old school all the time. But when you attach a label to something, people tend to just, you know, if they have a frame of view, then that's what they see it as, you know. But if you would say to the people that it's totally modern all the time, then maybe people would think so, you know. I don't know.
You know, it is. You know, there is a modern twist to our music, and we have influences like ranging from whatever, you know, funk to classical music to jazz to pop, you know. So yeah.
And actually, when you listen to music, do you see the difference between bands who play classical music or want to replicate classical music, or the bands who try to take elements from it and use it in the modern music?
Yeah, I mean, I see that very clearly, especially with, like, you know, for example, like grunge. You know, grunge music is like, for me personally, I think there's only one true grunge band, you know, and that was Nirvana. That's like, for me, that sounds like that. But you know, they were also trying to sound 70s. You know, they were like, that was also part of their thought process. And also, like, for example, Soundgarden, for example, is very, you can hear the Sabbath and Zeppelin influences and that kind of stuff. And yeah, sometimes it's more noticeable, I guess. Some bands you can see that are like, oh yeah, they just want to sound like they were Frozen in 1972 and then just revived now, you know. I don't think that's very exciting. You know?
Okay, so you prefer to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, take something, but you know, basically taking from a lot of different sources. For me, I think that's most interesting to listen to. I mean, it's also cool when it's purely one thing, but.
Yeah, I hear a lot of bands that kind of are doing the same thing as bands were doing in the early 70s and 60s, but they don't try to sound like record in that way. They record with like modern equipment and stuff, digitally, modern producing. Yeah, but of course there are a lot of bands that really try to sound like it's recorded in the 60s.
Okay, but when you record your music, you try to make it clear or to add this old school style?
It's different from every album, actually. On Voyage, for example, we ran all of our albums were recorded digitally, but like Voyage, for example, was put through two like tape simulators actually. So 2 plugins to make it extra, you know, warm and, you know, more alive.
It still does sound quite modern.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, we have a pretty modern sound when it comes down to it. I think sometimes sometimes the songwriting is more in the vein of that stuff. For example, like Gateways is also way different, you know. It's more clearer and more modern, really. Yeah, but I use, like, for example, also old amps, you know.
Oh, okay, old amps.
Old amps, like from the late 60s. Marshall amps, so yeah.
Plexis, all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so also I wanted to get back a bit to your music videos. So actually thinking about all these hamsters and other things, I just thought, how much are you involved in the process of making music videos?
Very involved.
Yeah, it's,
Do you write scripts yourself, make casting or something?
No, I mean we have had we've been lucky to work with a few really talented video makers, and usually it's something like somewhere we meet in the middle. There's maybe an idea that comes from either us or them, and we work on it together, and then but the whole the proper movie making aspect of it, we are like usually not, we don't write the scripts, but we do sometimes. We're quite involved in the production and getting props and finding places and all of the. I mean, it's always a lot of things to pull together. A lot of people and a lot of time and money and stuff. But we've been lucky to do it quite well a few times.
Okay, and if we talk about the particular example, in Expand Your Mind, I heard the joke reference to Zelda video games. So was it your idea or is it the script writer?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was Bowen Staines, the man who made Expand Your Mind. Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was a lot of different references there. Tom Selleck appears twice in the video, just like
one frame.
One frame.
I didn't notice that.
No, that's totally understandable. But if you watch it frame for frame, you're gonna see Tom Selleck just appear on the screen and then go away.
Okay.
There's also some. There is a purple dildo, I think, somewhere.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of an Easter egg, so you have to really look for the purple dildo to.
Yeah, I bet it's like Fight Club style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, he had a lot of crazy ideas.
Yeah, not all of them we could execute, but he built a hot dog spaceship in his basement, and he did that, with crumbs everywhere, and he did the spaceship, and then he also created the cockpit of the thing in his basement, full size or something. So, yeah.
So much Easter eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So at the beginning, 12 years ago, your band started. Yeah. And what you were listening to?
Same thing I'm listening to now.
Yeah, really?
Pretty much. Yeah, no, I mean, my taste is, personally has evolved. I was the only one, in this lineup that was around then, It was basically a school band. We were, me and two other guys. We recorded the first album in that formation, and the drummer from that lineup quit in the band in 2015. That's where Stefan came in. So yeah, but I was listening to, a lot of Cream. I was listening to Hendrix, and yeah, I'm a big Rush fan. Actually, I didn't know Rush in 2006, but a few years later, I got really heavy into Rush. And,
well, when I was kind of listening to your pre-production now for a gig, something familiar was with the Rush music. Yeah. Also Power Through You, also kind of a same drumming style. I don't know. It's just physically, it reminded me. So that's awesome. Because we're all old school.
Definitely a huge source of inspiration. That band.
Yeah. A lot of the 7/4 time signatures and that stuff, 7/8. That's that's very Rush. We incorporate that from time to time. Yeah, bass solos.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay, and what other people's around you listened to at the time? What was big?
Timbaland was big at the time.
Nelly Furtado.
Yeah. Britney Spears had the breakdown and then came back. And South Park. Yes.
So actually, you didn't borrow any elements of the music that was big at the time. So you were just making your own road.
No, not really. I mean,
reason.
Think about it. Not really. Yeah, no, not really. I didn't, especially at that time. I don't think that was a very great period in the musical history. I think the 2000 to 2010 was kind of boring in many aspects.
Okay, and did it affect your decision to start your band?
I think so. Yeah, I just wanted to. For me, I just wanted to. It was very clear in my head what good music was, and I was like, I wasn't hearing people doing that around me, so I was like, I had a pretty clear vision. There was never a question of what exactly to play. I knew what direction to go in, and
Okay, actually I asked you about what music was big, because now we have a few bands from Iceland in Russia, but they're like really crazy bands for our taste, like Kalle and Mikla. They are great, I think, but they're a bit different from what we used to hear.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, they're also different for Iceland, you know. But
They're different from Iceland, so it's not normal for Iceland.
No, they're quite unique there as well.
Yeah, they're a unique band. Yeah, they're really cool. Yeah, and but yeah, there's a lot of different stuff coming from Iceland, you know. And I think it's one of the things that it's such a small market, and then that's why a lot of things that come out of Iceland, people aren't really thinking about what is in, you know, what is in and how do you make money, because there's not money to be made just doing your band in Iceland, really, you know. You couldn't really live on it, so, you know, I think people are more doing music that they'd like to hear and think are interesting, and sometimes it tends to be weird. Yeah.
What albums you can recommend from the last 12 years?
I think the first Royal Blood album is fantastic. Or are you talking in Iceland, or?
I mean all of the music.
It's more about like how your taste had changed during this last 12 years.
I mean, the Royal Blood album, the first one, is really, really good. That was great. That one is great. Them Crooked Vultures, the 2009 album, is probably my favorite album that's been released in the past 12 years. Yeah.
And how your music changed according to the stuff you listened to in the last 12 years? Do you think it changed it at all?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's always been kind of changing, and all of us have different elements, you know. Some elements of funk have been coming into our...
Yeah, we've been, listen to a lot more funk than we used to, and that's kind of coming into somehow creeping into the songwriting.
I think also we've been listening to a lot more pop than we used to, like 80s pop, and
yeah,
I mean
Hall
also
& Oates
some
and stuff.
Yeah, we love Hall & Oates, just so you people know.
Like the Tears for Fears.
Yeah. Funny that you say that, because when on the first audition where he came into the band, he was wearing a Tears for Fears t-shirt.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think for this one it was that was big in the influence section. But I mean for the last Arrival, the one before the last one, that was I guess more Rush, Mastodon inspired, you know, more into the heavy technical stuff, you know. So yeah, it's always a bit different, but I mean it's always I mean we're also just different people. 3 years is it's a long time actually, kind of between albums. So.
Yeah.
Actually, if we talk about the last album, so yeah, I heard of some differences between the previous one and this one. Maybe it's me, but I heard a bit of more Jimi Hendrix, for example, on this one, and some other things. So, do you actually plan a lot of this? How much do you plan before you start to record?
Nothing like that. I never, like for me personally, I never play something and think, this is, I'm gonna throw a Jimi Hendrix lick or something inspired by, Paul Kossoff or something like that. But you know, I don't know. But I think it's just because, like, in my mind, it's all just like one. Everything I listen to just goes into one pot, and I'm just stirring and then taking stuff out for me.
Yeah, so it goes out of you naturally.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and there's never ever a moment I think where I'm like, especially for the guitar playing and vocal stuff, you know, I'm not trying to channel anyone. It's basically what I'm trying to say. What about you guys?
For planning, I don't know. We kind of wanted to, for sound-wise, we kind of wanted to make it. We're not afraid of making it kind of modern sounding, making it just sound good, you know, big.
It sounds really
punchy.
Clean, actually.
Yeah, that was kind of.
Yeah, that was one of the.
We had a great producer helping us with the sound, Ian Davenport from UK. We had a great studio as well.
That's actually one of the elements that is not almost old school because it sounds really in a modern way.
Yeah. Okay. I think the old school part in us is more just from the attitude. I guess it's not not, yeah, like I said, we're not trying to sound like we were recorded in the 70s.
No.
But
It's cool to take elements.
we try to emulate just the kind of soul attitude from that period, like those bands.
And some composing, of course. So
Yeah, riff-based. It's riff-based music, and that's what I was in at that time. But yeah, I think like for the last album we're more thinking about making songs, making them a bit more interesting, like just songwriting-wise, making memorable songs.
That's very noticeable because the dynamics of each song is like you're going uphill and up mountain and then silence. That's amazing.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, we always try to sprinkle in like have the perfect blend of being, because we're big progressive rock fans, but we're also fans of, for example, we're saying, pop and just, rock and roll. Good songwriting, yeah. So, trying to sprinkle in some complex parts with basic parts and like having it.
Keep the flow of everything.
Yeah.
And, everything natural.
Not being complicated just to be complicated. Have it serve the song.
Just spicy enough, so you can eat the meal,
It's like for the sake of the art, not for the technique.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, we have a few minutes left, so we're going to ask you a few short questions. So we name a band or a performer and you give us your opinion. It's not necessary, it should be short, actually.
Yeah.
So let's start it with Anthrax.
Scott Ian. That's all I know.
Never listened to them.
I think I listened to like 2 albums, but that was like 10 years ago. I went through them once, and that was. I have no recollection of it really.
Scott Ian is dating Meatloaf's daughter.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
You and I haven't known that.
Yeah, that's kind of weird that I do know that. I don't know why I know it, but yeah.
Okay. And
We need to Google it.
Yeah. Fact check me, just bleep it if it's not true.
okay, Nothing But Thieves.
That's pretty new. I heard some songs. That's pretty cool.
Nothing But Thieves.
Yeah, but it's pretty radio friendly though. So it's like some stuff is interesting, some stuff is.
And what about just the last one, the Creedence Clearwater Revival?
I love them. One thing, I mean, they had so many hit singles. It's amazing, and it's also kind of funny. I didn't realize. I always thought they were from the South, but they're from like San Francisco. So they actually got a little bit of like. Got a little shit back in the day for that. People in San Francisco were like, "Why are you guys aren't from the South? You're not from Texas or something? Why are you?"
And why are you speaking like a Texan?
Yeah. But John Fogerty also like he has maintained his voice now for like 50 years.
Yeah,
It's
that's
still
amazing.
fantastic. Yeah, so that's.
Standing through my daddy's knee. My papa said, "Son, let the man get you do what it's done on me."
It's very, very admirable.
So we're out of time, but
Well, for me, we can.
there's a
There's a crowd waiting for you outside now. So, but if you can say a few words to your fans for the camera directly, that would be great.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for the support. Hopefully check out our new album Gateways. And we love playing in Russia, and it's been really fun coming back. And we can't wait to come back. Thank you. Thank you very much.